If you've ever wondered where the most wealthy people in all of Orange County live, this video we're going to break down some of the most expensive neighborhoods in all of Orange County. Now, most of these are coastal. Well, all of these are coastal, at least in part one. So if you want to see part two, leave a comment down below with the place that I don't mention that you want to check out. So let's dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to jump right into this. I'm going to show visuals here, and this is fun, looking at expensive properties. But I'm on our website, onyxhomes.com. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show overall, here we go, starting at the most expensive. The newest listing on the market is 120. Let's go ahead and filter this right to the highest price points. And I'm not necessarily going to show just where the most expensive properties are, but I'm going to show some neighborhoods that I handpicked for us in this one. Now, this first one is Cameo Shores. This is a neighborhood that is very close. It's in Newport Beach, very close to Fashion Island. So if I zoom out a little bit here, this is like the south-ish, well, on the coast, the southmost portion of Newport Beach. This is the Corona Del Mar area. Fashion Island is right in here, Newport Beach Country Club. This is right by the harbor. So Cameo Shores is a really, really beautiful neighborhood. It's not gated, so this one's unique in the sense that it's not a gated neighborhood. Anybody can drive on right through it, and if you're in the area, it's definitely something you want to go just kind of check out. And these homes are terraced, so what you're going to see in a lot of these homes is they look like they're not all that large from the street when you're driving in, but as you can see, this is a 6,800 square foot house. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you a few pictures of each one of these to give you some kind of reference as far as what this particular neighborhood looks like. So 4 beds, 7 baths. You can see this is absolutely beautiful home. And it's on a 12,000 square foot lot. But like I said, the home's almost 7,000 square feet. So where was the picture of the view a little bit? So as you can see, they're terraced, right? So you're not getting massive ocean views necessarily. And the view that you're getting, I can't find a good picture of the view. But as you can see, you're not getting massive ocean views necessarily from this neighborhood, even though you're so close. And you're close to the harbor as well too, which is important, just for location wise. So Cameo Cliffs, Cameo Shores, and you also have Cameo Heights, or Highlands, are all kind of different neighborhoods, but Cameo Cliffs is what we're talking about here. So very unique, very terraced neighborhoods. And what this particular neighborhood reminds me of, and I say this a lot, is Corona Del Mar. I think Dana Point, parts of it are going to start to look more like Corona Del Mar. Now, as you can see, $16 million here. When was this home particularly built? Let me pull this up. This was built in 2015. Okay, so keep that in mind, because we're going to go down here to Dana Point, and we're going to go to the Strand. I'm not going to type it in. I'm just going to zoom in, and we're going to find the Strand here. So crazy, I have to take this off. Let me just go to Dana Point. All right, so the Strand at Dana Point is a absolutely spectacular neighborhood. It has some of the most expensive properties in all of Dana Point. But this upper Strand here very, very much reminds me of what we see in Corona Del Mar. I'm just going to pick a random property here. And this guy's 17 million bucks, so it was slightly more money than the last one. And it's 6,700 square feet, 4 beds, 7 baths, so very similar. And also, I just picked a random property. This actually also kind of looks like the other home as well too, from an architectural standpoint. So you're gonna have these from looking at the front door, the homes look like they're not massive, but once you take a look at it, these are large homes. They're really high price points, and similar to Cameo Shores, which we were just looking at here at Upper Strand, is you're not right on the water. I mean, you have lower strands down here, and as you can see, you can be closer to the water on a larger home, and it'd actually be less money, or not a whole lot more, to be, one row away from oceanfront property. So this Strand, Upper Strand, Lower Strand, these are two different areas in Dana Point that are just absolutely some of the most beautiful properties. The billionaire row here down in the bottom, every single owner, go figure, of all of these waterfront properties are billionaires. No surprise there. We're talking 30 to 50, 25 to $50 million properties. This particular home's been on the market for quite some time, listed at $35 million and 10,000 square feet. But this is as close as you're ever really going to get to the water without being on the sand. Okay, so this is at the Strand. All right, now the next neighborhood, I'm gonna go in a totally different direction. I'm gonna go back up to Newport Beach, and we are gonna look at Pelican Hill. This is, if you've ever stayed in Orange County, you might have heard of this as a resort. Well, there's also a neighborhood in Pelican as well too. So Pelican is most comparable with Crystal Cove, which is another neighborhood, absolutely stunning. You are on the cliffside in South Newport Beach, absolutely unreal ocean views, and the properties are spectacular as well too. So as you can see, the most expensive property that's in Pelican right now is 36, 37 million bucks, 32, 29, 27, so on and so on, right? These are large properties, 8,000 square feet, 14,000 square feet, and they're kind of littered throughout the entire neighborhood. And obviously you have Pelican Hill, you've got the golf club, you've got the resort, right? This is a very rich, very prestigious, I say rich in the sense of obviously it's rich, but it's a beautiful neighborhood. It's very, very high end, very exclusive, very gated. So when we were talking about Cameo Shores, or rather Cameo Cliffs earlier, this is quite literally the opposite, I would say, of this. These are more compound type homes. They look massive, they look very grand, and you're gonna get a very similar feel here in Crystal Cove as well too. Crystal Cove in Newport Beach, there we go, Newport Coast. So as you can see here, this is where you're gonna see some of the most expensive properties. Crystal Cove is slightly higher end properties than you're gonna see. Obviously, these are also larger. So 15,000 square feet, 15,000 square feet, 12,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet. So very, very high end neighborhoods, right on PCH, down here you have Mastro's, you have Javier's, you've got Bluefin, you've got A Restaurant. There's a lot of stuff right down here in the shopping center as well too, which is one reason why it is so popular. Even if you don't necessarily live here, if you live in Orange County, you'll probably head here at one point in time. Now I'm gonna go, before I go back to Dana Point, I wanna hit one neighborhood in Laguna Beach, which is one of my personal favorites, and this is Emerald Bay. Now, I know I am missing a ton of ultra luxury neighborhoods in Orange County, but I wanna hear yours. So in the comment down below, let me know which neighborhood you feel is the most luxurious neighborhood in all of Orange County. I'm curious to see what you say. But Emerald Bay is not a very large area, right? Emerald Bay is not a very big neighborhood at all. And then you've got Irvine Cove over here, which is even more exclusive as well too. Emerald Bay is the north portion of Laguna Beach. It's the very last thing you would get to before you hit the neighborhood we just talked about, which is Newport Beach and Crystal Cove. So you have a lot of the benefits of Newport without being in Newport. You're still in Laguna Beach, and you've got some absolutely fantastic properties. Now, they're not nearly as big. So the properties you're gonna see in Emerald Cove, not that 7,000 square feet small by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see $22 million for 2,100 square feet. These are older homes. They're on smaller lots. They're smaller properties. It's not as grand of a neighborhood as you'll see in Newport. It's not like Pelican or Crystal Cove. It looks like you're walking up or driving up to castles. Emerald Bay is almost more understated from the exterior of the neighborhood. And once you get inside, the homes obviously are incredible, and there's also obviously not that many for sale. But for example, your oceanfront property here, 7,000 square feet, 5 beds, 7 baths. It's hard to beat the coastline views that you have in Laguna Beach. I mean, it really, really is hard to beat. Let's see, this actual particular house was built in 1996. So these are older homes, right? Crystal Cove was all built very recently, much newer properties. But this has obviously been renovated. This is obviously gorgeous as well too, but you just can't beat this view here is spectacular. So that's Emerald Bay. Now, again, the last thing I'm gonna share with you is back in Dana Point. So I wanna share Monarch Bay. Now, before I pull this up, I do wanna say, if you're looking at anywhere near this price point in some of the most expensive areas, there's so much context between the different neighborhoods. There's so many different ones to choose from. If you're spending anywhere above 3, 4, 5 million, 5, 6, 7 into the $10 million range, there's so many different things to consider. If you want to reach out and talk about your unique situation, obviously you can reach out to us. Just go to allaboutoc.com, drop your information. We'd be happy to help you out. But here in Monarch Bay, so we're back in Dana Point. You're right on Laguna Beach. right on the border for Laguna Beach and Dana Point. This neighborhood's unique for a few different reasons. The first one I will say is just relatively very recently, in the last few years, these lots were all on leased land, and the lease ran out, and all of the property owners had to purchase the property or sell. And there's a lot that's sold, and there's a lot of renovations going on here. There's a lot of properties that hadn't been on the market in absolute ages that have come on the market, and we're really seeing some special properties. A lot of these have been pretty much completely redone, but this is a unique neighborhood to Dana Point, I'll say, for a few different reasons. One, this is a perfect picture. You are right on the cliff, and right down this coastline, you can see way back here. You can't make it out in this picture, but this is the Waldorf Astoria Beach Club, and then right down this beach, if I could go one more, let's see if they have a more zoomed out picture. They don't. So at the end of this beach, this is Salt Creek Beach, at the end of it, you have the Ritz-Carlton as well too. But there's not very many properties here in Dana Point that are right on the cliff like this. This is really one of the only areas. This is something you might see more, you will see rather more in Laguna Beach. You really don't see that very much in Dana Point. So 7,700 square feet, very large property, $36.5 million as well too. And you can see there's not that many properties for selling here right now, but even a property that is in, inland, if you will, 2 streets in, this probably does have an ocean view, but like, for example, this property here doesn't really have that much of an ocean view. And we're looking at 6,000 square feet, $16.5 million. And this was built in 2022, right? So this is a pretty much brand new build. And you can see here from the front of the house, you do get some ocean view, but these houses are more like kind of that Corona Del Mar feel, but you are in a gated neighborhood, very, very exclusive. You do have a private beach club for this neighborhood as well too, that is attached to the Waldorf Astoria Monarch Beach Club. There's a lot of unique aspects to this neighborhood as well too. And if you like a lot of the benefits of Laguna Beach, but maybe you don't want to be in the busyness of Laguna Beach on that coast, if you know what I'm talking about on PCH, Laguna Beach can get very busy. Dana Point's probably a little bit more convenient if you're maybe more of a commuter or something like that. It can be, it really depends on your situation. So in the comments down below, which neighborhood do you feel is the most exclusive in all of Orange County? I'd love to hear it. Now, in the next video that I have up for you right now, I'm going to talk about the most expensive city. So we talk about neighborhoods here. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the most expensive cities in this next video. So if you like this type of stuff, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.